Hey,
Welcome back. Welcome back. And welcome.
Four Kingdoms, episode 7?
Seven.
Has it
7.
been 7 weeks already?
Yeah.
Wait,
I think we
really?
started
Shit.
the start of first week of August, or first or second week of August, so it's now October.
Jesus, it's 7 sessions of podcast. Well, six kinda. What are we doing this week?
So this week we're going to have a blast from the past. We're going to be looking at some of the very first sessions for the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So I think sessions 1 to 18 were only comprised of 3 players, one of which was me playing as Snow, Tokel, and Sieg / Eisen. Sieg at first, but then Eisen later.
Yeah. I think it was
So-
like 1 to 21-ish. So, yeah, a few sessions, give or take.
Yeah, I thought it was like session 20. That's when we introduced Storm,
Yeah,
our
it's
first
around
ever
then.
edition.
Yeah.
But he says it was like session 18. So, but I'm pretty sure it was like 20 on the dot.
Yeah, because 18 is the only session.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
looking at
okay.
it right now. And the reason we're doing a recap is because we didn't have a session this week. We didn't get to play D&D.
No.
Huh.
No, we had a couple of absentees. So usually, if it's more than one, we just take a bye.
Yeah, I mean, before it was if one's missing, we're not playing. But that's because we had 4 people in total. Now it's
Yeah.
8 people in total. So, I mean, I guess even if 2 people are missing, it's still kind of okay, right? Do you think so or not?
I think it depends on which characters are missing. I think if we're in an arc that involves a certain character a lot, not having them be there would be kind of jarring in order to like make everything make sense narrative wise.
Yeah, so in this circumstance, probably Oasis and Storm? Do you think?
I would think so, yeah. And Oasis is absent this week.
Yeah. So if Eisen, Tokel, or Snow or Ryan just kind of went missing, I think things would still kind of flow.
Yeah, because they don't have much bearing to the overall arc. But anyway, we prefer to play with the full party
Yes,
anyway. It's
every
just
time.
better overall.
Yeah. Speaking of the full party, unfortunately, I believe we're losing a member for a extended
think
period
they're-
of time.
Eisen will be taking a break just for some other issues outside of game.
Yeah.
So we probably will have a long absence from them for a little while. But that's okay. They'll be back someday.
And then we'll be at 7 players, which is still 6 players, which is still
We'll be at
a
6.
ton. So chaos will still ensue, regardless of whether or not Eisen is throwing gas on the fire with her antics.
Yeah. And luckily Eisen doesn't have a really prevalent arc right now. There's some bits here and there,
Yeah.
but her involvement in the current arc is minimal. Well, her required involvement is minimal so far.
And the player already kind of told me what he wanted to do with her character during his absence, so we got that
Okay,
on
cool.
wrap.
All right.
All right, let's go with the recap. I'm gonna do rapid fire 1 to 20 sessions.
Yeah, as I said, let's go.
Okay. Session 1, it's just 3 players. Tokel, Snow, and Sieg. We all know who Tokel and Snow is. Sieg is a cleric. I believe he was a what's the fire cleric? Do you remember what the type is called? One with fireball?
I think it was cleric of light.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes
He
sense.
was
That makes
was
sense.
human cleric of light.
Yeah. Part of this cult, not really cult, Orange Heart gang. Some wild stuff. They wake up chained in a cell or a prison of some sort in some dark, dingy underground place. I believe they're just kind of situated next to each other, and as DM, I just kind of told them that they open their eyes one by one so they can just kind of describe themselves. I think. Do you remember that?
That was so long ago. I think it would have been over 2 years ago since we had that first
Mm-hmm.
session. I do remember vaguely.
Yeah. So you guys break out of your you try to break out of your manacles. I believe Tokal makes it because his strength was already somewhat highish at that point.
I think one of the first actions I ever did as Snow was try to trip one of the guards so I could take the key. I think that was the very first thing I ever decided to do
Oh
in D&D.
man. You guys eventually kind of break out of the cell, and the very first of a long list of hostage NPCs. You acquire your first. You knock out the guy. You take him hostage. Your
Seems to
prison
be
guard.
becomes a running theme throughout
Yeah, the first
the
10
sessions
to
to
15
come.
sessions. It
Yeah.
happens quite often. You guys take him hostage. I think, if I remember correctly, I think one of you bashes his head in with like a table leg or something. You like snap off a table leg and you whack him on the head with it.
Oh my gosh, brutal. Well, so we didn't. Yeah, I don't think he made it out of the
No, that
dungeon.
guy died. That guy died. Um, I think he either was used as like a meat shield, or when Torgut was around, he killed him, or something of that sort. I don't really remember, but he
Was
definitely
Tor
died.
So Torgot was a goblin, one of the first NPCs friendly NPCs we encounter. Was he in the dungeon with us? He
Yeah, I
was,
think
right?
so. And then he kind of like escaped through like a little crevice or like a crack in the wall or something, and he
Oh,
appears a bit
right.
later.
He was in the cell with us, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wait, no, him. Wait, we forgot the other girl. There was a girl with you guys. It was
Oh, I remember
what was
her.
her name?
I remember her. It was like
Like
Eleanor or some.
Eleonora or something, or Elena or something.
I think it was Eleanor or Eleanor or
Yeah,
something like that.
Eleanor. Yeah, you guys are like kind of escorting her out as you kind of fight. Not exactly wave after wave, but I think you guys start with like sneaking through like this dungeon, and you kind of encounter guards along the way, like these not really peasant guards, but just guard
They're
stats.
like just bandits or
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
bandit stat guards, pretty much. And I think you guys use the sneak approach. You guys knock them out. You investigate rooms. That was actually one of the more, I don't know if immersive is right, but one of the more Dungeons and Dragons sessions we've had, right? Where everything was kind of interactable, and you guys kind of did the not exactly generic, but the what the Dungeons and Dragons experience, right? Dungeon crawling, sneaking around. We haven't
I mean,
had lots of that recently.
as a very first session, that's normal to fall back on that sort of thing,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we've kind of made it our own game now, which I like.
yeah. Yeah, it's definitely more role play now.
Hmm.
You guys fight a bunch of guards. You make your way out into this large kind of chamber with, I believe there was like 6 tombs, and they had the engravings of like knights or something, and they all had different weapons that are kind of like attached to the knights on the tombs. And then there's one big statue in the far end, and I think, who was it? Someone activates the trap, not
It was
really trap.
Tokul.
Was it Tokul?
It was Tokul. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Tokul. And the large statue comes to life. The door shuts behind them, and then they have to fight this giant statue. And the giant statue kind of pulls weapons off the tombs and uses them, and has different phases. That was actually one of my favorite bosses. That's when I used to custom make enemies when I could be
Hmm.
bothered. But now it's just kind of I pull stuff from the thing and then just change a few stats. But that was one of the first and only custom enemies I've ever done. I think it was
Oh,
living
that
armor.
wasn't. Oh, that wasn't a thing you just pulled out.
I think I pulled the stats off living armor, but the whole changing weapons and floating weapons and stuff was, well, it's not original, but it wasn't in the monster
Yeah.
manual at the time.
Okay.
You guys, I don't think any of you got close to dying. Oh, maybe.
No, I think I got close to dying. I think because those first few sessions were pretty rough.
Yeah,
They were really hard in
that's
terms of
hardcore, huh?
combat.
No, it's too
Yeah.
easy. You guys beat it up, and there's some treasure hiding behind it. You guys get the classic, the ring of the gentleman or something, where it grows a beard spontaneously on whoever
Oh,
wears it.
that's
The
the
guts,
the guts ring.
the guts ring.
Oh, was that what? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, I believe I called it the ring of the gentleman or something. I forgot what it was. That's when I also that's
Uh,
also when I custom made magic items. I don't do that anymore either. Oh man. Um, you guys get that and some gold, and you guys escape out into the sunlight, and you see the Torgut with I think like a pack of wolves or something. Torgut
mhm.
and his wolf riders, and they just kind of look off you in the distance, and he gives you like this hand signal or a head nod or something to acknowledge your existence, and then rides off into the forest. I think that's not. Is that where the session ends? Or no, the first session ends, or did you guys
I
continue after
think
that?
we I think we go to the town and we're in the town briefly, and that's when it ends. That first
Oh
session was
yeah,
long. It was long. It was like 5 hours long.
yeah. That's that. I mean, relatively long. I mean, 5 hours then was nothing for us, but now 5 hours is a
Well,
journey for us, huh?
the average D&D session probably goes for 3.5 hours to four tops. Um, but we were crazy, and we were like, let's go 6 hours every week, and we did it, and it was awesome.
No, we weren't crazy. We were normal. Now it's crazy doing only three or
I
4 hours
think
every week.
I think there
Shit.
was a 7 hour session one time. I remember because we went until like 1:30
Mm,
one night, and we started at like
6 or 7. Yeah,
6:30. Yeah, something like that.
back when we started early and ended super late. The days. The days.
Oh, we still kind of tried to keep to the midnight
Yeah.
end, but sometimes we're just like we gotta keep going. We gotta end this. We gotta tie this knot.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's happened recently at all. At least in like the last 30 to 20 sessions. Well,
I think
20
it's usually
sessions.
combat. It's usually combat because we just like want to wrap
Right.
up
Yeah.
the
Just end it
encounter.
now. Yeah. I mean, even sometimes when we didn't finish combat, we just take a picture and then reset it the next time we come around.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you guys go to the village. Because Eleanor is the village elder's daughter, the classic trope.
Mm.
Um, you guys meet Sol and Demi for the first time. They're peddling their wares out of this mishmash of a caravan that's kind of painted in polka dots. And I think they try to sell you something, or they try to
Can you
identify something for you. I forgot.
can you describe those characters?
Sol is a humanoid, I guess 8 to 9 year old boy who wears this kind of like a polka dot. What is it? Like an apron, like a polka dot apron, and he's got these kind of like goggles on his head. He's always smiling. He's cheerful. He's cheeky. Somehow his catchphrase is turned into "Hey, Mister." I don't really know how that came into being, but it just kind of did. Demi wears similar clothes. He's as short as the boy. He's kind of gruff. He never, ever really speaks. He just kind of stares at people, or he's just constantly working on something inside the van itself, and not the van, the wagon itself.
Yeah, he was a dwarf, right?
Yeah,
He was like an
he was a
older
dwarf.
dwarf.
Yeah, an older dwarf. Um, Sol and Demi, and they're just kind of recurring. Yeah, they were recurring for the first maybe 20-ish sessions. They haven't
Yeah.
really popped up since then. Um, yeah. And you guys go in, and I think the village elder gives you some kind of quest or something, or it ends there.
Yeah, I can't remember what we spoke to the village elder about. I think it was mostly like we were negotiating a reward for returning his daughter.
Think so. Oh, right. Yeah, because there was this whole plot line behind why you guys were captured. It turns out that the people, the bandits who were keeping you in the prison were slavers of some sort. Yeah, slavers, yeah. And the villager was like, blah blah blah, slavers, go kill them or something. They got a camp somewhere nearby, so go get rid of them.
Oh, right. Yeah, 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 yeah.
And then that's where the session ended, right?
I think one of the first questions you asked us when we started that session was like, okay, you guys are locked up in a dungeon cell. Can you tell me why you would be locked up there.
Mm.
You remember that?
I think I'm not sure if it was during the session. It might have been before the session where I was just trying to get everything organized. I don't remember if it was during.
I think no, I think that was at like the very start of the session.
Ah.
And if I can remember my answer, it was something so stupid now that I think about it. I said Snow got mistaken for someone else, but nobody really looks like Snow.
Wait, really? I don't remember that
Yeah.
at all.
I remember saying like, oh yeah, I got mistaken for someone else.
Oh.
I can't remember what Tokal or Sieg said, but that was my answer.
Oh god, I could have sworn your one was you like washed up on a beach or something, right?
Yeah, no, that was a part of it.
Yeah, and then they
That was
mistook
a
you for
part of
someone
it,
else after that.
and then I yeah.
And then I think Tokal. So this doesn't line up geographically or in time at all, but Tokal was running away from home at that time. And
Oh, I
he
remember
somehow
that.
kind of ended up on the other side of the continent.
I remember that discussion. Yeah.
We haven't figured out how yet. Maybe he tripped and fell into a portal or something. I don't know. Sieg, I think he was just on a solo journey, trying to figure out, or maybe it was like a cleric quest or something. What
So
they
it was
do
on
solo.
some sort of pilgrimage.
Yeah,
but
that's the word.
I think back then the player uh didn't really know what he was doing. Well, none of us knew
Yeah,
what
none
we
of
were
us
doing.
knew what we were
But
doing.
but yeah, I think he said he was on a pilgrimage, but what that wasn't too clear at all.
Hmm. Yeah, I think he got. Yeah, I think he just got kind of ambushed at some point, trying to save somebody, and ended up in jail with you guys.
Hmm.
So should we move on to session two? Session one took like 12, 13 minutes of just me straight talking. Should I continue like this, or should I go more rapid fire? What do you think?
Well, if it's not interesting, we should just blaze through it.
Okay. So you guys almost die because I throw a level 5 mage at you.
Oh
like in the
shit!
next session.
I remember.
So the party comes across this bridge, right? I think it's like a collapsed bridge, and there's like
Yeah.
bandits kind of waiting in the wings, but you guys kind of spot them out before they ambush you. And the fight goes pretty smoothly until this mage just kind of levitates out of the ravine and throws a fireball at who was it? Was it Seek?
It was Seek. I think I'd already Snow was already pretty low at that point, and Sieg was trying to heal him or whatever. And then the mage saw this, and he threw a fireball like directly on top of Sieg. And I remember, I don't know why, but I remember this like kind of cockiness coming from the player. It's like, oh, it's just a fireball. I'll just sacred flame him. It'll be okay. Ended up doing like
Oh.
66 damage, and it's like, oh no.
I don't remember if it was that high because he would have exploded into like insta death, right? You guys were still level 1, right?
Yeah, no. He was in single digit health. I remember that much.
Because
And he was just hot.
yeah.
He was hiding behind trees and stuff.
Oh yeah, he took like
afterwards.
half damage because he was hiding behind a tree or something. I think that's how I ended up ruling that.
Do you remember Tokal as well? He had two hand axes and he tried to throw them both at the mate, and they
They
both
ended up
missed.
on the other side of the tree. Oh Jesus. Yeah, I don't really. Oh, I think my logic going into that was, oh, it's a mage, right? He's got low health. You guys can deal with it because mages typically have pretty low health. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
low health. He seems a little high for the CR, but I think they can take care of it.
But they had third level spells.
And and then I was like, oh, they're fireball. That's a spell, right? I mean, that's a normal spell people use. So I throw one, and then I think after I throw it, I look at the damage, and I was like, oh, wait a second, that's a lot of dice. 8d6 dice. Oh my
Was
god.
it 8d6? Damn.
Um.
Oh, do you want? I also just remembered we were on. We all had stuff taken from us, right?
Oh, you're right. Yeah. The driving
So-
motivation.
Yeah, well, at least, but for that time. So Snow had his sword taken from him, which he still has. Tokal had.
Divine light, executioner of the wicked.
Was that it?
That was
Was
it.
that the
That was
thing?
it. That was it.
What happened? Wait, what happened to it then?
I mean, he always had it until he lost it a few sessions ago.
He always had
He
it.
always had it with him. Yeah. It was broke, quote broken unquote.
Well, then what was all this talk about him trying to find it then? If
No, he
he
was trying to
had all,
fix it. He was trying to fix
I
it.
was trying to fix it.
Yep, yep.
Oh right, yeah.
And Sieg was
He had like
it was
a
like a book,
or
right?
something.
Yeah. It was
And
like the Bible of the Great Heart.
he was very angry. It was very. That's when the sacred flame meme came from, because after we finished every battle, he would like sacred flame all the bodies and burn them
I
out
mean,
of rage or something like that.
yeah. In fantasy technicalities, it's always good to cremate bodies because of what liches or necromancers or whatever. But I don't think that's what what he was going for.
Yeah, but after he got his book back, he stopped doing that. So
Yeah,
it
I
was
guess so. Yeah,
it
because
was
I remember as a DM, I had this issue. I don't remember if I was blowing it up or not, but I had this issue where I was like, oh, they need a reason to stay together. I have to have a reason for them to continue partying together. Otherwise, they just split up. And that was a big issue for us in the early sessions. Do you think?
It was, yeah, it was a huge issue, and it was compounded by the fact that none of the characters liked each other at all.
Yeah, yeah.
It's it's
Yeah.
it's turning for the better, in recent sessions, but during those first sessions, there was just no reason for the characters to like each other. Snow was this edgy asshole, just wanted to go back home and fix everything. Tokul was this just like really I mean, Tokul was Tokul. He hasn't really changed that much. Um, and Sieg was this super serious cleric out to hunt demons and things like that. Um, but yeah, no one was particularly nice to each other during that time.
Yeah, it was an issue for a while, and do you remember how we solved it? Kinda.
No, can you
We we
remind me?
we we just straight up talked about it. We just talked about it. That was it. And then yeah, I think we just had a conversation where I was like, okay, this isn't working. Whatever's happening, either you guys make new characters or you just kind of deal with it and be more friendlier with each other, kind of thing. Because I remember thinking, all right, fuck this. The onus. I'm pushing the onus onto the players. They have to figure out why they're adventuring with each other. It's not my problem anymore. I'll tell them, let them figure it out, and I'll just do my thing. I think that was my
Really?
solution.
Was that the conversation? I don't remember that conversation at all.
No, I think I had it. Yeah, it was pretty short, and it probably wasn't. It probably didn't go like that, but it was more like, um, hey guys, you guys need a reason like after you get your shit to still be together, so figure it out, pretty much.
No, because yeah, I remember something like that, and it's like, oh yeah, what's your deal now? And we're all like, we want to get more powerful, and that was it. I
Yeah,
remember a conversation, some sort of conversation like that.
yeah. I think I guess we'll get to it when we kind of come across that bit in the recap. Um,
So
yeah.
let's fast forward. We're
Yeah.
going on too many
Yeah,
tangents.
sorry. Yeah, you guys beat the mage. You guys go to the bandit camp. The slaver camp. Now that you guys have figured it out, you meet. Oh, what was his name? What was his name? What was his name?
Fredgar, right? Or Victor or Fredgar?
Vincent. It was Vincent. He was this kind of very tanned, large, kind of barbarian man, and he was running the whole slaver operation. And you guys, I think you guys try to ambush. No, you guys do ambush their camp or something. But then you guys have a conversation somehow. I forgot how with Vincent, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, the only reason I'm doing this is to protect my own village or whatever, or because the Denatharians are were sending soldiers to the war or something of the sort. I don't know. Um, which really doesn't line up these days, but whatever. And then you guys like, oh, no, no, no. He tells you guys. Vincent tells you guys that the village elder, Eleanor's dad, was sending out his peasants to get ambushed and taken.
Oh
And then you guys
yes,
were like,
yeah, yeah.
how dare he? And then
Oh, and then there was some deal with the village elder's brother, right? Who I think we killed. Do you remember that?
village elder's brother.
We ran down the uncle of Eleanor, and we like interrogated him for a bit. I think we like who was one of the prisoners. We had him as a hostage for a little while, and then we just eventually killed him, or he got killed somehow.
Mm.
And he was like, so the village elder was supporting him in the slaver operation. He was the actual head.
Yeah, I
The
think
whole thing.
so. And then I think after that conversation, the village elder kind of shows up like on a horse or something,
Oh yeah, yep,
with some friends, and then you guys like, oh, you guys beat him up and his buddies.
yep. We mess him up.
You take him hostage, and
We take
then
the uncle hostage. I think.
yeah,
Oh, maybe it
no,
was
I
the
think
maybe
it
it
might have
was
been
the
the
village.
village elder.
Oh, where's this uncle narrative coming
Maybe it
from?
was
I don't
maybe it
know.
was a different plot point because I don't really remember the uncle. You guys take him hostage, and you guys are like, all right, let's just put him into slavery as well. I think that was the solution.
Uh-huh.
So you guys kind of sell him off to Vincent, who then directs you to I guess the next town.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Which was
because he said I don't have your equipment, your stuff. I gave it to the Baron of Leha? No,
Leyhurst? Guildford?
Brunwick,
No.
Guildford.
No. Leyhurst, yeah. I keep messing these up, but I'm pretty sure it's Leyhurst first, and then we go to a bigger town called
Yeah, you're
Guildford.
right. Yeah, I'm looking
And
at
then
notes. It's Leyhurst.
Brunwick's on the south coast
Mm,
somewhere.
you're
and
right,
We're
you're right.
we're on the east.
Yep. Yeah, Leyhurst. He's like, yeah, that guy has your equipment. Go to him. Because it was just
Yeah.
kind of this goose chase. Because I think at the time I didn't really know where it was going. All I know is that the only reason you guys are together is because someone else has your stuff. So I think I might have just been postponing that. I mean, we were only like 2 sessions in at that point, so yeah.
Mm.
You guys go to Leyhurst. You go to the not really thieves guild, more like thief guild. There's only one thief there. You ask the chef because there was a special code you had to ask the chef, which Vincent gave.
Oh yeah, that's for Tyr, right? Tyr and his lover
Tyr
Penny or something, or
and his daughter Penny.
his niece,
Daughter Penny.
oh, daughter Penny. Okay,
You guys go to the tavern, and do you remember what the code was?
no idea. I remember we had to yes, it was like some out the back gambling hall or something like that. And
Yeah, you
then
had to
Tyr
ask
was
the chef for his
this.
special sauce, special sauce or something like a special meal, a
Oh,
secret
yeah.
meal. Oh god. You meet up with Tyr. He kind of tells you that the Baron is having this party and he wants to break in, or you're gonna help him break in or something. He gives you this list
Yeah,
of people to talk to.
Tyr the halfling says yeah, I've got a heist going on. We're gonna break into this party, and something or other, steal some shit. We get our stuff back, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
But in order to gain access, we all needed our own way to get in, and there were various plot points leading up to that. And we'll probably do this quick because it was a lot of meandering. We end up going to this elf ranger's place, and we mess her up or something like that. I can't quite remember
You
what
guys
we did.
don't mess her up, but you do insult her. Because she was supposed to be pretty, and I think one of you guys was like, "No, you're ugly," or something, some kind of fifth grader insult or something.
Yeah, I don't even know why we needed to talk to her, but we did.
Yeah.
And, oh wait, she knew a way, or she was one of the part of the security there, and she knew a way into the house from the top, or something like that.
Information. She had information.
Something like that. Yeah.
And you guys
There was
antagonized the hell out of her, by the way.
Oh yeah. We mess her up emotionally. So
Yeah, she's the very. I was looking at my list, and she's the very first on the long list of people who don't like you. She is the very first on that list.
there's also Bennett, who's one of the guards there,
Oh, Bennett.
along with a buddy of his. His buddy's not important,
Yeah,
but
he's a
Bennett's
half-orc buddy.
yeah. So I think we managed to beat the half orc in a board game, and we'd be like, if we win, you're not around when we decide to go in. Bennett was a slightly more nuanced issue where he was in a bit of a love triangle, where he was in love with this girl who was married to this other dude. Apparently this girl was his childhood friend or something like that.
Yep.
And I don't know what his dilemma was, but we end up talking to the girl, and it turns out, her husband's been missing or has been fairly absent these past few
something like that.
days. Yeah, and that turns into a whole debacle. And spoilers, turns out he's a werewolf, right? We end up in the sewers, and his name is Fredgar. He's a werewolf, and there was a bit of a spat in regards to like who gets to control the NPCs. But
Ah, the
eventually,
classic. Yeah.
yeah, eventually, yeah, he becomes friendly, and he helps us fight through the sewers or
Slimes.
something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Slimes.
and there was some monster at the end there,
I
like
think it
some
was just a
creepy
bigger slime.
monster.
I think it might have just been a bigger slime.
Oh! Do you remember that? Do you remember the slime cube that almost killed all of
Ah, the
us?
gelatinous cube that swallowed one of you.
Yeah,
Good
it was
times.
me. I think it was Snow, and he
Yeah.
almost died.
Those things do a lot of acid damage if you get sucked into them.
Yeah.
I think one thing you're mistaken with is that Fredgar is not the same as the girl's. I think her name was like Anna or something. The girl's husband.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the same person.
Oh yeah. Fredgar
He's the guy
is
who
another.
infected the
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
another werewolf. But I can't remember. Did the husband get killed eventually?
Oh yeah, he died. Bennett ended up killing him.
Because okay, so yeah, so oh yeah, so that's what happened, right? So the husband gets infected, messes up Anna. Bennett gets angry, messes up
The
that
husband.
dude,
Yeah.
the husband, and we end up on a trail and find Fredgar, and he's like, blah blah blah, go through the sewers, and he's like, I'll never come back again. And then Fredgar catches wind that, oh no, sorry, Bennett catches wind that Fredgar, it was the guy who infected the husband and started all of this. So he's like, ooh, I'm gonna get revenge.
Yeah.
But Sieg was like, hey, join my cult first.
Good times. And then
And he
he
was like,
sends him
yeah,
off.
join my cult. I'll give you power. Doesn't really give him power, but now he's got a new cultist there. And Bennett runs off into the distance, and so that takes care of him. I don't think there was.
Oh, you're missing something very important.
Is it the old man part?
Oh, no, no, no. If Tokel was here, he'd remember. One of the
Oh
people on the
right,
list. Sugar. Oh, Sugar. Sugar is
was
part of. She's a prostitute,
prostitute. She's a
a lady
whore.
of the night. She came in a pair. No pun intended. She comes in a pair with Spice. Spice, I believe. Sugar and Spice were these prostitutes at this brothel. Sugar was the main squeeze of the Baron, pretty much, and Tokel had to squeeze some information out of her. And Tokel ends up falling in love with her or something, or is infatuated with her.
Well, basically, Toko hires her, has a night with her and Spice, and then afterwards they have a chat about the the Baron info that Toko needed.
Yeah. I think that was the majority of the people, and you guys just
Yeah.
break in, right? Should we skip over that?
Yeah, I think we break in. There's we were like we had to disguise ourselves when we broke once we had broken in. I
Mm.
think Tyr gave us some disguise potions or something
Yeah, I
like
think the
that.
scrolls or potions of the sort. Yeah.
Yeah, I disguise as this geriatric old man, this cleaner dude, which became a bit of a meme
Oh.
later on. This old cleaner dude who would run around running into people and not doing his job properly, going do, and then just inconspicuously asking random people how to get upstairs. It's like, hey, how do you get upstairs? How do you get upstairs? Do you know how to get upstairs?
And then I think you were constantly harassed by one of the other waiters there, who was why am I forgetting his
Cedric.
name? Cedric, yeah,
Cedric. Yeah.
Cedric Dedison. Oh god.
Oh no, I was harassing him because I kept
Yeah.
like trying to squeeze
And
info out
he
of
kept
him. and
fucking
it's
up,
like-
and he's like, "Hey, stop fucking up." um,
I think Tokul was another waiter, and Sieg became one of the noble guests, the nobleman guests there.
mm,
Eventually, we make our way upstairs, right? We make our
no,
way
into
upstairs?
into the basement first, into the basement,
Oh, into the basement.
the hidden basement wall, which ends up to being a like a vault or like a large vault or treasury or whatever. You find your items in that place. You find a bunch of gold, whatever. And then there's another secret door or secret wall where in the basement is the Baron's like sadistic experiments where he's like stitching people together and he's kind of like fucking
Mm.
them up. Oh, I think that's where the slaves were going, right? He was experimenting on them or something. And that's where you find Penny, who is unconscious, tears all sad, blah blah blah, and you guys fight some abominations, and then you guys slip into the sewers after that, right? There's
Mhm.
like this pit where he just kind of drops in bodies, and you guys just kind of slip into that. And for some reason, Soul and Demi are down there. I think they were waiting for you or something. They appraise your magic items. You kind of exit the sewers, and
It was the same sewers that we found Fredgar in,
I
right?
think so, yeah, because you guys were mapping it out at the start.
Yeah.
Um, you guys get out of the sewers, and then you see fire just kind of rising from the town itself, and the town's under attack by these orc raiding parties, I guess. And everyone's dying. You guys kind of sneak out. And you guys decide to go back to the mansion for some reason. I forgot why.
Mm, I think we wanted to find out what was upstairs because there was a thing where the Baron was like, strictly no one is allowed to go upstairs
Hmm.
in the mansion. And when we make it up there, everything's all dusty and old. So clearly, no one's been there in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys fight through these orcs, and then you eventually make it
Yeah.
upstairs where.
Who invaded the town? Oh, by the way, orcs invaded the town while we were in the sewers.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how the time span worked for that, but it did. So let's just forget about forget about how that happened. It just happened. Um, you guys kill them. You go upstairs, and Baron is holding a knife to the throat of Sugar, I think. And
Mm-hmm.
a little flashback in the treasury, you picked up this magical arrow that lets you teleport to wherever you shoot it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's only single use. So, what do
Yeah,
you
it's
do
one
with it?
arrow. I shot it because he was in the corner with Sugar, with a knife to her neck, and I shot it in the corner behind him. I came behind him, and I teleported behind him, and I stabbed him or slashed him in the back
Nothing
with my new
personal,
sword. Nothing personal. I fucking shimmed him. And yeah, and C was not happy. The player was not happy because, well, he wanted to get more info out of the Baron, right?
I think so. Yeah, that and you use the arrow, pretty much.
I don't think he was mad about the arrow. I think that was more you were surprised. I don't think anyone was mad about
Oh, okay.
me using the arrow.
Yeah,
But it was
maybe
more
he
the
didn't
Baron.
just want the info. Yeah.
It was definitely the Baron dying he was upset about.
Oh, jeez. Um. Yeah, you guys don't get anything out of him, and then I don't know why. Do you remember why you guys decide to go to Guildford after this?
I think one of the Baron's last words was there's a lead in Guildford or like something or other in Guildford. It's kind of unclear. Or maybe
Yeah.
we just started traveling after that, or we just ran.
Oh, that might be it. Yeah, just kind of going in a direction. Maybe one of the NPCs is like, "Oh, there's a big city that way" or something.
Mm.
Because you guys do. Oh, yeah. You guys end up leaving. You guys have this party of, like a lot of people at this point. It's T, Penny, Sugar. Sugar came with you for a while. Soul and
Mm-hmm.
Demi, and you three.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are leaving, and then we missed. I completely missed this whole subplot where these two snow elves, snow elf
Mm.
assassins,
Mm.
come to get you. And oh man, that was a weirdly brutal fight, I think. Cause I remember you did some fucked up shit to the last surviving one. I forgot what it was though. I just remember
Yeah,
it was
I mean,
horrible.
I was very salty, like out of game because I worked so hard to get the sword, and now they're taking my sword. So I was pretty salty. I was having a bit of a child tantrum, um, and then you had to basically do an ass pull and get Soul to help us out in the end because we were getting absolutely pwned by these two snow elves. And I think that the snow elf monk was stunning me every single turn. That was stupid.
Stunning strike, baby.
Yeah, I think there were there's the of the Boar clan or something like that.
Mmm. That makes sense.
And
Yeah.
we had a conversation briefly before that, like leading up to the Baron's party, something like that.
Mmm.
and then yeah, we didn't come off on the best terms from the conversation. So they were like, "We're taking the sword now," and I'm like, "No," and they take it, and I'm like, "Shit," and then we eventually beat them. I murder one of them brutally. I like basically rip off his skin and then burn him like a witch,
Oh, it was death by 1,000 cuts,
something
right?
like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that. I definitely remember that. And I was like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on? um, that didn't really lead into anything after that, did it?
No, because we killed them both.
Yeah.
So
And there wasn't any repercussions so far, I guess. Because I think the original deal was that they'll come back in like a year or whatever, or like a few months. But then they come back for some other reason. I forgot. Um, I don't know. I guess looking back at it at like a narrative point of view, it was like a brief kind of look into the culture of the Snow Elves or whatever, and the different clans they had. I don't think anybody cared at that point except maybe you and me. But I don't know. I thought that
mm.
was interesting at the time.
Yeah, I'd still be interested in learning, or in like having the players experience different cultures outside of Axia or stuff like that. I'm always down for that.
yeah.
It doesn't have to necessarily be snow elves, but I think now that Maple's here, we can definitely lean into that more.
Oh yeah. I'm s- I'm
He's from the.
I'm still waiting on some information. Hey, Maples player. I'm waiting for that information still. Hey, still waiting.
Oh,
Still waiting. Um, yeah, I think one of my biggest regrets in the first 15 to 20 sessions is that we never really got to go into the orange, well, the hearts, the Sieg's cult of hearts, and we never really got to introduce any of their just any of
well,
them really.
we kind of did, but I don't think that's much fault of your own. I think that was more because the player wanted to change characters.
Yeah, we never got to it in time, I think.
Yeah, and we were on the way there. For I think we were on the way there, not strictly heading towards there, but we were like heading in that direction. And then yeah, all of a sudden he wanted to change characters.
Yeah, which is understandable given the circumstances surrounding the reasons why, which we'll get to. um, so you guys go to Guildford.
Hmm.
You meet Vincent there again, and he's like, "Oh, I've set up this meeting with the Duke of Guildford, and he'll I don't know, he'll help you or send you off on a quest to go stop the orc invasion or whatever."
Hmm.
And so he does that, and then and so the Duke is a strange, somewhat eccentric man who likes to test his subjects' loyalty and their skills.
Yeah, I think in that initial meeting we met the Duke in his hall, and there was something very off about that meeting.
Yeah, there was some kind of
S-
presence in the room, which I don't think you guys ended
we
up
know
picking up. No.
we never
Ah, my plot point.
went into that at all, because what ended up happening afterwards, after a bit of dickery, I think there's some in between parts where Cedric comes back in, and we're like, "Oh, dude, we're sorry for screwing up your last job. We'll make it better by hooking you up."
Oh
Oh, because
no.
we find him. Actually,
No.
we find him in this rundown part of the town, in this working as like an assistant bartender, right? And this is like Vincent's hideout or something like
Yeah.
that. And we're like, "Oh shit, hey, it's Cedric. This dude. Hey, do you want do you want to get hooked up with some girls or something like that?" I think it was mostly Tokul who was saying that. Because I think the night before, Tokul hooked up with this chick who turned out to be a succubus, and that you had made that encounter out of spite, because every single session he would ask, "Is she hot? Is this girl hot?" Remember that?
Yeah. I don't know if much has changed since then, but it felt somewhat good doing. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say half of it was out of spite. And half of it was just more like, I want to do a succubus someday. And so it happened.
Yeah, and you got messed up, and then we hook up Cedric, and it turns out it's the same succubus, and he gets messed up. And we're like, damn, we gotta kill the succubus. I think we do kill her, right? We do kill her.
Oh Lord, do you kill
Like
her?
we like mutilate her.
Gee, that was okay. I think that might have been the most fucked up thing you guys have ever done to an NPC, right? Because
Because
the term fuck nugget came up more times than I would like in any session, and no one deserves to hear that term used more than like once in their life, and that term came up like 4 or 5 times from your mouth, and I was like, oh god.
think we were like they were memeing. We were memeing.
Oh Lord, memeing is
Because I think we were like interrogating her, and then we were like cutting off her wings,
jeez.
and then we were bashing. Toku was bashing her face against the bed frame,
Oh Lord.
and I was like cutting off her leg.
Because I remember this because he wanted to do that, and I was like roll attack, and he gets a natural 20 or something.
Oh yeah, he freaking crits the fuck out of her.
He crits her forehead into the bed frame. Jesus, and then you guys like start chopping off limbs, and then the term fuck nugget comes up, and she's still kicking for some reason. She still had some health to spare. I don't know. You guys interrogate her. I don't think you guys get much information out of her. I think you guys just decide to hand her over to the city guard, and they burn her at the stake pretty much.
Yeah.
Jesus, and
Cedric is traumatized
he is
for life.
He's still traumatized from that experience. Yeah, that comes up later. Is there anything else between that?
I think that's where the meme comes from. It was initially a meme that he was just some depressed college student.
Yep.
Just trying to pay off his loans, and I don't think you made it canon until like later on, because it was just we had a lot of just like in jokes, like the old man.
Yes.
Like the old man whose Snow stole his job, and he was like following the party around. That's not much of a meme anymore, but that was one of the memes. The other one was Sacred Flame. That was also a meme. Sacred Flame! And then there was the meme that Cedric was a depressed college boy trying to pay off his loans.
Yeah, now he's a depressed college boy trying to pay off his loans who also has PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good for him. Do you miss the inside jokes, or are they just kind of like a relic of the past now?
I think we still have inside jokes every now and then. I think you can't just force inside jokes to happen.
Yeah.
It's just whatever.
Yeah. Do you miss them?
Yeah, I miss them. I miss them.
Yeah, I miss some of them too. You guys murder the fuck. Well, you guys don't murder the fuck out. You torture the fuck out of the succubus. Oh yeah. And as you guys are kind of watching the burning at the stake of the succubus, I think Sieg detects this evil presence or this demonic presence within the crowd, and you guys kind of follow him back to this shitty house where it turns out to be a I forgot the name of the demon, but it was a demon kind or a fiend of some sort.
It was like a devil. It was a devil.
Yeah, and he was chilling. He was a chill guy. He's like, "Yo, why didn't you knock?"
That was Sieg's whole shtick, right? Because the player always has sticks with his characters, and Sieg's whole shtick was, "Are they demons? I'm looking for demons." Oh, that was his quest. He was looking for the blue demon or a powerful demon.
Yep, that was it.
And he's like, I want to sense demonic presence. And you're like, no, there's no demonic presence except for this time. And he was like, I'm a chase.
And you do chase, and it turns out just to be this guy who's chilling. I forgot what his reason for being around was. I think there was this whole underground demon society in the city, which we never ended up going into because you guys left. Yeah, but he was one of them, and
oh yeah, and he said the Duke was like a demon too.
yeah,
right?
he said there's some fucked up shit going on at the court. Yeah, and then you guys have the meeting with I think it was like the financial advisor or something of the Duke, or some kind of advisor of the Duke, and he's oh god. So what I did as DM is that I sent 2 of the players, so I guess I was only left with 1 player, out into some like my room or something while I was having a discussion with the only player that was left, and we had this discussion where I was like, so the two people you're with right now, they got a big bounty on their heads. You want to betray them or something along those lines. And I had the same conversation with each player, and the general reaction was fuck these people, we're leaving. We're leaving.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. You guys make it a whole big deal out of escaping. You like set the place on fire. You throw gold into the air. There's a sweet chase scene as you guys run through the streets, like dodging pedestrians and shit. Um, you guys eventually make it out of Guildford, and you guys decide to go down into the Black Old Forest where the orc invasion originated to kind of stop it from its source or something. I forgot why. I think Vincent just told you about it or something. You guys were just like, all right, let's do that. I don't know.
No, there was this whole thing. So after we went to the Devil, went back to the inn, slept. Next day, met up with Vincent, and everyone was there. It was like an all-star party at the bar. And Vincent's
Oh,
like, you guys gotta stay and defend. And we're working with the Duke, and he wants to meet up with you. And Snow was like, but I don't want to stay. I don't care about you guys. And we had a whole rap. You remember the rap session we
yeah,
had?
yep. Oh God,
We're
that was one of the
we're having
greatest
rap
sessions. I somehow convinced Snow as Vincent with a rap to stay. I think also out of character, I was like, there's no way we're doing split party shit. Like I'm not doing that. Because I think you just
Yeah.
kind of wanted to split and have your own thing for a bit, and then we both realized that it's a terrible idea for D&D to do that.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and you decide that okay, whatever, you meet the Duke and then you run, I think.
Yeah, we meet the Duke and we're like, yeah, fuck this guy. We run, and you're like, no, all my plans, all my notes, all going
Hmm.
away. I remember your reaction. You're like, I don't know what's going on anymore. This is like, I didn't expect this to happen. You guys run in the forest, and you cut the session off early, I think, because you're like, shit, this is not going to plan.
Yeah, I think we were approaching around the end time anyway, so I was like, okay, let's stop here, because what I had written, I guess it's fine to talk about now. What I had written was this whole siege episode where the orcs are at the gates and you guys have to defend. I literally had all the choke points like prepared and all the events like stuff is on fire and you're saving these people from burning buildings and shit. But none of that happened. So that feels kind of sad to
No,
not
none of
do
that
that.
happens canonically either, which is strange, right? It's strange.
No,
That's
yeah,
strange.
yeah. I wonder what happened. You should ask somebody. Maybe they'll tell you.
Yeah, so we run, and we have this whole guerrilla warfare arc where we're traveling through the forest. We're heading down, right? I
Mm.
think we're heading down.
Yep. Down
We're heading
south.
towards Kirithil's Rest,
Yep.
which was a place that Snow read in a book somewhere. Um,
Ah,
and it's
yes.
apparently it's a village of shapeshifters or like were people.
Yeah, I believe the book was telling of this legend of this band of mercenaries who were cursed by the moon or something.
Yeah,
And they eventually turned into shapeshifters, and then I think they figured out that the outside world was too dangerous for them, so they set up this little town inside this forest called Kirithil's Rest, which is where you guys ended up going. But before that, our very first experience with using children as meat shields.
yes.
Oh
Yes.
Lord, we went down the dark path that I don't know if I regret going down, but it didn't feel that good at the time. So you guys come across this orc supply camp of some sort where they have all these hostages, or I guess captives or whatever. And you guys decide to infiltrate it. And this is about when Torget shows up again. He's like, "All right, I'll help you guys out." Um,
Yeah.
and so I think you guys split into two parties, and one's like circling the outside, one infiltrates the camp itself, and then there's this. I don't know. What did you think of that? I was about to say it was this great sneaking part, but I thought it was
Yeah,
great. Yeah.
I think it was cool because you relax the rules a lot, and so instead of like as long as we were hidden, we killed orcs instantly. I think, right?
Yeah.
And that was cool. And I remember this. There was this part where there was a bunch of orcs like around a campfire, and like I tapped one on the shoulder. I'm like, "Hey," and he's like, "Huh?" And I sliced his neck off.
Hey. Yeah. And you guys sneak around eventually. Eventually you end up at the large tent
Yeah,
where all the children are being kept, and the I think it was like the chieftain or the war tribe leader or whatever you want to
Mm-hmm.
call them.
Yeah.
Where I think he ate the children or he did worse things to the children or something. So you guys like, all right, we're gonna fuck this guy up. Turns out he's a pretty big deal,
Mm-hmm.
and you have this massive fight. And then people start, oh, the other orcs start realizing this fire starts spreading because I think Sieg set fire to something. Or no, I think Torgut.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
Tokul and
they
Torgut were setting fire to things as they approached you guys.
I think they called upon reinforcements, so there was like a time issue there.
Mm.
And was like, I think at this time, I was like, yeah, maybe Snow's evil. Maybe Snow's evil, right? Or maybe the sword is influencing him.
Yeah.
And I think this was just poorly executed because I did not feel good playing this part. So basically, what happened was the warlord was using children as meat shields, but Snow didn't care, or like the sword was compelling him to push forward. So he would kill the kids to get to the warlock, and I think he killed like 3 children
Yeah, there
before
were
that
a few.
happened.
Yeah.
Um, and then eventually we kill the warlord, right? And then we start running. We start running.
Um. So what happens? If, I'm just gonna go in a little more detail. You guys, it was you and Sieg who start the fight, and Tokul and Torgut they're kind of rushing towards you once they hear the fight breaking out.
Yeah,
So he starts throwing kids at you, and every time you tried to hit him, his armor would transpose with another either a child or Sieg or something. So he'd swap places every time you try to hit him because of his armor of something like repositioning or whatever, which was
yeah,
also a custom magic item, which was pretty broken. Um, and he also had the chainsaw sword, the chainsword.
yep, yep,
Oh hell yeah! And I think he was kind of messing you guys up. And every turn or so, like two more orcs would show up and they join the battle. And eventually Tokul and Torgut come. They help you out. You guys kill the warlord like you said, and you guys start running. After I guess looting his dead body for all his shit.
yep,
Um, and this mysterious mage kind of shows up as you guys are running away. Um, and the orcs are throwing like javelins and shit as you guys are kind of sprinting
yep.
into the
And
darkness.
this is where Torgut gets killed, right?
Oh yeah.
Because
So
we almost all of us make it out except for him, who's straggling behind. And I think he get critted or something like that, or like you max dice rolled him on damage.
the mage he used the command spell on Tokul to turn around and come back, and Torgut decides to go back and I don't know. I think he like shoots a crossbow at the mage to kind of cancel the spell.
Yeah,
And so Tokul kind of escapes off that, and Torgut is kind of left behind. He and his friends, who I think he had his packmates with him, take a fireball pretty much, and he's at like super low health. And then a javelin comes out of nowhere and just kind of stabs him straight through like the gut, and kind of like
Yep.
pins him to the floor, and then he just kind of straight up dies. Oh man, rest in peace, rest in peace. Oh, one of my favorite characters.
fucking dead,
Oh,
deaded.
yeah, that was one of the hardest sessions, harder hitting sessions for me.
So, Storm, you know what happened to him now.
Yeah, he died. He died. He died like a fool. He died trying to save somebody, and then he took a javelin, and all his friends died, and his cool wolf died. Oh man, I'm
And
gonna
then
miss
yeah,
that. Miss that goal.
we continue on. I try to play like Snow's guilty or something like that for what he's done. That didn't turn out too well because none of us knew how to roleplay properly.
Mm.
But we tried, and then we lead the children to
Kirthul's
Rest?
refuge. Yep.
Yeah.
That's where you meet Ursine, the
Oh, the Tsundere werebear.
yeah, that's the one who just kind of has these what's the word, irregular transformations that she can't control. And she ends up pretty much tearing up her room every so often.
Yeah.
She kind of helps you guys out. I think you trade whatever like art pieces and whatever you have with her for actual money.
Mm-hmm.
And the main guard, do you remember his name? The hunter.
It was like I think you ripped it from Pokemon. It was like named after a villain in Pokemon.
Maybe?
It was like Sylvester or Synaster or something like the
Yeah,
Sylvester. I thought it was
I feel like
something like that.
Sylvester might Lysander.
Lysander, that's
Lysander.
it.
I'm looking
Sorry.
at it.
Yeah, yeah,
Lysander.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. He brings the party after you guys kind of offload all the kids and whatever to their cell where where you meet good old Bennett. Good
yeah. Hey, it's
old
Bennett.
Bennett. And he is fucked up. He is shell shocked. He's just kind of emaciated, staring into the ground. Hasn't eaten. He's like, I don't know. I don't remember why Lysander brought you to him, but he did, and he's like, "Yo, what do you want to do with him? He's all yours if you want."
Oh no, because the reason why is Fredgar, the werewolf that Bennett was chasing, was a part. He was an exile from
Yeah,
his village,
right.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And Lysander was like, "Oh, we caught this guy who killed an exile from our village. He's in the cell." And we're like, "Oh, Fredgar, that rings a bell." So we go to see him, and yeah, it's Bennett.
Yeah, and Sieg does some more cult stuff, I think.
Where he's like, no, he doesn't do any cold stuff. But we were like, okay, we're ready to go. But Steve's like, hey, can I take this guy? He's part of my cult. And then me as Snow, I'm like, this is not a good idea. He's safer here because we're going into the heart of wherever the orcs are coming from, and we don't really want any more dead weight. But he seemed very adamant about bringing this guy along, which again is the first mistake. Okay, this is we have an argument, right? Me and Seek's player, we have an argument, and we have arguments outside of the session about whose fault it is, who ends up, who's responsible for Bennett's fate when we get down to the mountain, which is where our destination is, right?
Yep. Final destination.
It starts here. This is where it starts. So Snow makes an effort to try and keep Seek here because these people at Kirith West clearly don't have anything against him because they killed an exile, right? So he was technically not one of the villagers anymore, but they were like, yeah, we'll just keep him here. We're keeping him here for now. Let him calm down, and then we'll see what we want to do with him. But then Sieg wanted to take him along for some godforsaken reason. And so we end up taking him along, because Snow was like, okay, we're going to take him along. He's your responsibility. So whatever happens is on you. And so Sieg agrees to that, I think, and we head off down towards the Black Mountain. Is that what it's called? The Black Mountain?
It's
Black
called
Mountain?
the Black Hold Mountain, I think.
Black Hole Mountain.
Yeah, you guys go down there. I'll skip past the combat on the way down there. Essentially, there was three choices. There was a long route, a short route, and a medium route, which had varying levels of combat difficulty, I guess. Like the short route was obviously takes the shortest amount of time to get there, but it was like a fort, like an orc fort or something in the way. The medium route had a bridge, and the long route didn't really have anything. You just had to go all the way around. I think you guys chose the medium one.
Yeah.
You guys get to the bridge. You guys start crossing the bridge, and then old Blue Demon Boy shows up, and he cuts the bridge. You guys fall down into the depths.
No,
right?
no. That's not what happens.
No, you guys cut the bridge.
We start at the end of the bridge, and we see orcs coming over the ridge behind us. And so I thought of a plan. I was like, everyone get on the end of the bridge. And people were like, oh, what are you doing? And I cut the bridge, and we go freaking Indiana Jones into the side of the mountain. And I remember the other players like, oh my god, I knew you were gonna do something like this. And then I have Bennett on my back, I think, and we're like kind of shimmering across the cliffside. And we like head into a cave that's on the side of the cliff, right?
There was like spider webs everywhere, and you head into the spider web cave. You guys are attacked by these giant spiders, and then you head in further, and then there's this shrine to what seems to be some kind of spider god or an 8-legged god, arachnid god or whatever, and this, I think like the 70-foot ceiling or something, because so you can't see the top because you guys have 60-foot dark vision or something like that, something silly like that. Descends this. Oh god, what are they called? what are the spider ladies called?
Like
Oh,
dregs. What are they called?
oh,
Driders, driders.
Drider. Yeah, Drider. You got it. Yeah, Driders. And she's I don't know if she's I'd say she's pretty attractive. She's like half elf, half spider, so the top half's pretty attractive. You can think of who's the boss in Dark Souls? The Dark Souls
A
one.
Quailag,
Yeah,
Quailag.
she was
Yeah.
cute. She was cute as hell, and her sister was also cute as hell. Anyway, I had her on my phone background for like a straight 3 months. By the way, back when Dark Souls one was a thing.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
you guys meet her, and she speaks in this kind of super ancient elvish tongue. And Snow kind of gets half of it, kind of doesn't get half of it, and that's his whole reason for learning, learning Elvish.
Yeah.
And you guys kind of make a deal with her or something, or she kind of lets you leave. I forgot what you talked about with her. Honestly, do you remember?
I think she said something along the lines that there's something or someone close to her that's in Black Hole Mountain, which it plays a part. So she's alluding to something in Black Mountain, and we're like, okay, cool, we'll go there. Will you let us go? And she's like, yeah, okay. And we head out and we come out the other side of the mountain after that, right?
Yeah, yeah. Um, and you guys go to the mountain base, right? And
Mm-hmm.
there's like I guess some kind of ancient ruins that kind of lead down into like the depths of the mountain. I think you guys start heading down, and then Sieg pulls aside Bennett. Is that am I thinking correctly?
Yeah. So we make it to Black Hole, and then yeah, we all go down first, and then he gives you like a post-it note
Yeah,
in
yeah.
out of character, and he stays back with Bennett. Oh, this part triggers me so much. God.
Do you want to
Okay,
explain
go
it?
on.
No, you explain it if it
Oh,
triggers you
okay,
so
fine,
much.
fine. We head down. We head down the mountain, and then Sieg stays back with Bennett. What ends up happening is Sieg has second thoughts about bringing Bennett this entire time, and I think throughout the entire trip, Sieg was trying to, he was basically preaching at this dude who was like basically catatonic, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't listening, wasn't anything. But when Sieg indoctrinated him into his cult, he put a mark on his hand. And so when he held Bennett back, basically what happened was he cut off Bennett's hand from the wrist because of like the mark couldn't be removed any other way or something like that, and he just took off, and he just left Bennett there for dead. And he
yeah,
took off, and I think he got friggin' run down by the blue demon,
yeah.
but manages to escape. What were you trying to do there? What were you trying to do there?
What was I trying to do there?
Yeah, well,
I don't really know what I was trying to do there either. All I remember though was a chase scene, and every 5 seconds, Sacred Flame came out, and I was like, wait, this can't be how chase scenes work. Eventually, the blue demon kind of pins him down for a bit, and they fight. I think he escapes somehow. I don't remember how. Or maybe just the blue
no,
demon lets him go or something.
I don't think they fight at all. They're just chasing, and he keeps trying to use hold person on the demon and fails
Ah,
every single
yes,
time.
because
And
he
you're
had
like,
some
okay,
crazy wisdom saving throws. Yeah.
yeah, and you're like, okay, fuck this. The demon stops chasing you, and that's what happens.
Yeah, because I think at the time, I mean, I still have no fucking idea how to do a proper chase, like mechanically. Yeah, the chase rules in the player's handbook are fucking, they're weird and dumb. I don't like them. Yeah, so Sieg just kind of bolts off with your bag of holding
Mm-hmm.
into
Which Toko is pretty salty about.
still salty about into the wilderness towards where his friends are. Um, yeah, and then I think the session ends around there, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, let me ask you, and we can cut this out if it's too real, right? I've been asking you for years who you really thought was responsible for Bennett's death. Who did you think? Who did you think was it?
And I think my
Who was it?
response to every time you ask this, my response is my opinion doesn't matter here.
No. Your opinion. I'm asking for your opinion now. It does matter right now.
Who's
Who
responsible?
who do you think was responsible for Bennett's death? Because My argument is, if we hadn't taken Bennett in the first place, he wouldn't have died the way he did in the encounter that's coming up
Okay.
in the next session. Sieg, actually, I don't know what Sieg's argument was, but I think he's just saying it wasn't him. He wasn't the reason why Bennett died. Because we couldn't save him in that encounter or whatever.
I think the NPC made his own choices, which eventually got him killed because no one told him to go and try and save little Lucius, whose mother just died, and then he gets cut
Okay,
down like a little
you
lamb
say
to
that.
slaughter.
You say that, but it wasn't his choice to come along with us in the first place. It may have been his choice with the circumstances that he was put with in that scenario, in that encounter, which is coming up, which we should probably explain, right?
We
So
will.
basically, the next couple of sessions we pick up Eisen, who seeks a new character.
Yeah.
We I think we picked him up from another orc camp. We
There
go
was
to Black Hole Mountain. So I think that
Yeah.
the base of this mountain that we're at right now is not quite Black Hole Mountain, but then we finally make it there, and we all go down. Bennett's with us. We go down, and apparently there's some snow elves there who are trying to bring back a spider demon of some sort. And basically, a battle ensues. We have, I think one of the main elf, the leader there, his name was Hero, something like that.
Yeah.
And he's trying to summon this spider demon. We basically kill everyone. We take Hero hostage, and we eventually kill him. And there's in order to bring back the spider demon, he has to sacrifice people, right? And we have this horde of people. And basically, the snow elves are beating the shit out of us. Bennett comes charging in, and he gets smacked down almost straight away.
Yeah.
And then one of the snow elves just keeps hitting them while he's down, and he dies eventually.
Yeah.
And I think we both, I think me, as Snow, Eisen tried to stop him, but we both failed our roles. And I think that is the argument that he uses. That is the argument that he uses in order to say he wasn't responsible. Which, okay, at that time is valid, but everything leading up to it, it's kind of on him. So, anyway, that's the context. And now we're back to the discussion, right? It wasn't his choice to come with us in the first place. And that's the argument I made that started the whole thing.
I mean, technically, you guys did ask him if he wants to come along, and he didn't say anything. He didn't
respond.
give a fuck. Yeah, he didn't give a fuck. So, he could have gone either way, really.
That's not his decision, though.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't argue that was his decision.
His decision was to do nothing, and you guys just kind of brought him with you. I don't think there's a problem with this at all, because I think he gets a relatively, maybe not satisfying, but relatively closed ending. Like he eventually finds.
Yeah, or he gets an ending, all right. He gets an ending, all right.
He finds his resolve. He makes a decision for himself rather than being dragged along by you guys. And it got him killed, but at least he was doing what he wanted, you know? So, maybe Eisen did bring him along. Maybe Eisen did drag him along. But I don't think that's what got him killed. I think he got himself killed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, look. Yeah, he did get himself killed in the end. But the reason why he was there to get himself killed was because C dragged him along.
I mean, you could also argue that, because I recall that you were trying to train Bennett into some kind of warrior of some sort, and you're trying to get him out of his mentality, out of his rut, right?
Yeah, well, but that was after Snow had given up trying to keep Bennett away, keep him to stay.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's relevant to the argument I was trying to make.
Well, do you agree that you were trying to get him out of his mental rut after you guys took him with you, after he was dragged?
Yeah.
So you could also say that because of the way you trained him, that he became more brave, in that he went and got himself killed. I guess you could also make that argument.
Yeah, I guess. I guess. I'm still gonna say it's Zeke's fault in the end
It, it,
because
it was Bennett's fault. It was Bennett's fault he died.
sure, sure. I'll let you have that. I'll let you have that.
He wanted to die pretty much, so he got his wish. He got what he wanted. He ended up, I don't know, saving, because if I recall correctly, Lucius's mother or caretaker is kind of dragged up onto the ritual pedestal, which is kind of Aztec looking, where she gets kind of stabbed in the gut and her blood kind of flows down, and then it gets kind of like wrapped in the chains that's holding this giant demon god or whatever back. And Lucius goes to like kind of like he rushes out of the crowd to try and stop them or whatever. But then Bennett comes in, kind of pushes him back, and then Bennett gets gets fucking pummeled into the ground. Because I mean it's very rare that DMs give NPCs death saving throws. Um, but he did, and he had some. And what I think a lot of DMs, or at least a lot of new DMs, forget is that every time you are attacked and you are hit, while you're making your death saving throws, and you are going to be hit because you're unconscious, and every hit hits pretty much. You lose one. You get one failure pretty much. And
You lose. Don't you lose two?
no, you lose one for every hit. And some enemies have multi attacks, and those count. So they can, if they do three attacks in one turn, you're dead. Like if they catch you on the floor unconscious, dying, you're dead. That's it. There's no other chance for you. But I guess maybe some people do know that, and they're just kind of shying away from killing their players. But this is an NPC, so I get to fuck him up. And he gets fucked up on the ground. I think he gets to make one or two saving throws, but I think some of the failures were just him getting hit while he was already down.
I think that was also kind of questionable because we were fucking up his buddy, and he could have he had all the time in the world to come over and help him out, but instead he's hitting this guy while he's down. You know?
Yeah, I think it was Hiro who was doing the killing, right?
No. It was one of the guards. It was one of his guards.
I don't really remember. I think he hits him once, and then he just goes to you guys, and he lets Bennett do the saving throws. I think that's because I definitely remember doing saving throws, or at least once or twice, and we all watched with bated breaths as I didn't do this roll behind the DM screen. I did it in the plastic container we used as a dice rolling tray.
Should bring back the plastic container.
And we all watched, and we all saw that it rolled under a 9 and under. So he died. He died just like that. I don't think well, you lost your cleric, so you didn't have Revivify at the time.
No.
He died. You guys eventually overpower the bodyguards. You take Hiro hostage. Hiro does this little spiel or something before you. I think you guys just kind of kill him too. I forget why. Do you remember why you guys just kind of yeet him into death?
No, I think basically we tried to get info out of him, but he just wasn't having it. So we were just like, okay, let's just cut him loose, and then cut him loose. We mean we cut his throat and he dies.
Yeah. Oh, rest in peace.
Yeah, but he had a whole backstory to him, right? Because he had like a note in his clothing somewhere, and it was basically his parents were writing to him, or he was writing to his parents.
I think his parents were writing to him to come back or something. I don't know. Yeah, not exactly tragic, but you know, he had some kind of backstory to him.
Yeah, I like that he was kind of multifaceted in that way, that he was doing this for his own reasons, not because he's evil or anything.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he believed that in doing so, in releasing the demon, he could cure the blight that was affecting the Snow Elf lands. Because what I had written was that he kind of grew up like around after the blight started affecting everybody, so he kind of watched everybody die as a child. Like everybody loved die, so he's like, all right, I need to do something. He goes out, he reads some ancient text. Oh, I can summon a demon to fix the blight. I'm gonna go try that. he goes and tries that. You guys fuck him up for it. And
I
then
think
yeah,
the demon was coming out, right? As we were
yep,
leaving.
yep, yep. The wrapped in chains demon, which hasn't made a reappearance quite yet.
Is it because you forgot
No, no,
about
no.
this
Oh,
demon?
no, no, no. Oh, it's
Okay.
always there. It is always there. It's
Okay.
um, he's gonna be good. He's gonna be good.
As long as you don't forget.
Oh no, the big things like this I won't forget. It's the small things that are just like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. But big things like releasing a demon god into the material plane, that's kind of a big one. Um, and I think it might. No, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything because that's future. We're not talking about the future. We're talking about the past. We're talking about the past.
Hmm.
Where should we stop? Should we stop at Brunwick, or do you wanna keep going until beach episode? Because we're already like we're already
Mm,
pretty deep right now.
yeah. I think we should probably save the Onion Beach episode
For a different.
for another time. Or
Okay.
we can like, I don't know, if you want to go a little bit longer, we can cover
You want to
all
have
of
a
them.
3 hour podcast? I can do a 3 hour podcast. I don't care. I'm crazy.
Oh, we could go until like 2 hours. I think that should like be enough time. We probably won't go to two
Oh,
hours though.
I don't think that's gonna be enough time. 2 hours. Oni and beach is a lot to discuss, especially beach, because a lot of things happen during the beach episode as well to the other
You know what?
characters.
Let's get into it. Let's get into it.
Oh, you want to do it?
Let's go.
All
Let's
right,
go.
all right. Let's do it. Let's do it. So you guys finish the whole Black Hole Mountain. You guys have this traveling. I guess it's
We have a
more yeah like a herd.
freaking herd of people.
Yeah. And you guys have this little like a mini episode of you guys training them to hunt and gather or whatever as you guys are heading down to the nearest city slash town. That was a nice little quaint thing. You guys got intimate with some of the villagers, especially the
Was it Faye? What's her
quote
name?
slash
Faye?
leader, yeah, Faye. Um, and she was just this kind of 30, I guess like early 30s woman who I think she lost her children or something during the whole debacle. So she was just kind
I
of left
thought she
alone.
was. I thought she was pretty young, like early 20s
No, I think
woman.
I had her as somewhat middle-aged. I think that's where our headcanons got a little twisted. Because I remember you asking like, we talked about this already, but the relationship thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had her as kind of young, middle aged, but on the younger side of things. So she has had a lot of life experience already. She's had kids, and they kind of died. So now she's kind of looking after all these now orphaned kids or people who don't have anybody for them. So she was kind of the voice of that whole gaggle of peasants, I guess. Um, you guys train them up, and you eventually end up at Brunwick, right?
Yes. Oh no, we come to a couple of villages. We drop off some villages there, and then we
Ah,
head to.
right, yeah.
And I think on
Um,
the way we meet a certain recurring character called Steven, who's like this rich kid,
oh, yeah.
and then Toku
Stephen.
was like, "Yeah, let's. I wanna fight this guy." Beats him up. Beats Steven up.
Yeah, Stephen is a back pocket character that sometimes comes back and sometimes doesn't. Um, he is ostentatious, arrogant, kind of brash, very on the nose. He thinks of himself as some kind of fantasy knight where he goes around challenging people to duels.
Hmm.
And I think he saw Tokul as some kind of like dragon, so he's like, "Oh, I want to fight the dragon or whatever." So in his, oh, what did he sound like? Um,
I think it was just some like posh kid, right?
yeah, like posh, arrogant, kind of like
Because
Draco Malfoy kid.
he's like some Denetharian nobleman.
Yeah,
Or he's just like the son of a Denetharian nobleman, probably like a second son or something like that. But clearly has too much money for his own good, too much
mm.
of his daddy's money.
And he's decked out in like this gold plate armor, or like steel, silver or something. It's shiny as hell, but I think it like kind of crumples under under his weight, because I think I think the reasoning is that the armor itself is really good. It's just that the person under it is so bad that it makes the armor worse or something. So I
Yeah.
think Tokel like one punches this guy, and he just knocks him out and leaves him on the roadside or whatever. And he makes a few reappearances down the line. Um, oh, there was a not exact. It's not the beach episode, but there was a beach episode prior to you guys entering the town.
Yeah, it was very. It's a very. I was thinking about that just now. It's a very anime beach episode. It's like you know how every anime has a beach
Oh
episode, and it's
hell
kind
yeah,
of like nothing happens. It's like
yeah.
that. It was like that.
Oh, I think that was such a wholesome moment in our campaign of darkness and gloominess and sadness.
In the grim darkness, there is only war.
Yeah, because it
Until there's
was
a beach episode.
yeah, because the kids were playing in the water. Faye was chilling at the beach side. Tokel was playing with the kids in the water because he's pretty much a child. I think you were just chilling with Faye at the time. I forgot what Sieg was doing. He was probably also helping out, playing
No, no,
around.
Sieg was not there
Oh,
anymore.
not
It was
Sieg. Sorry,
Eisen.
Eisen. Eisen was playing with the kids. She had an attachment to kids at that point. I think she was playing with
Mhm.
Lucius, because at that point she pretty much took him under her wing, as some kind of, not exactly a disciple, but what would you say? Like a,
Like an
uh,
apprentice.
yeah, like kind of like an apprentice, yeah. And Lucius looked up to her as this role model, so they had a relationship there. And Toka was just splashing around with the kids. That was wholesome. That was a great little moment. We should have more of those beach episodes. um,
Yeah, I think with the talk with all this like down having more downtime and stuff, we could potentially have more scenes like that in the
yeah.
future.
Speaking of more downtime, do you think next session is gonna be more downtime, or do you think we're gonna get into it?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind more downtime, really. I think definitely if we have downtime this session, they'll I think people will want to be getting back into it the next session afterwards because we haven't played. We didn't play last week. We're not playing this week. So it would be a while since people have come back, really. Whereas in the world, it's only been like a day.
Yeah, less than a day actually. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the players would probably want to get back into it pretty soon.
Okay. Okay. Um. Anyway, this is the wholesome beach episode. You guys go into town. The Baroness, I almost called her Baronessa. The Baroness, I forgot her name, but she welcomes you. She takes in all the refugees. She hosts a dinner party for you guys, and it's like another wholesome moment where all the kids are eating. There's a bunch of food, and I think that's around where the session ends. And it pains me that you didn't remember her last time we talked about her, because she was such
Hey,
a nice lady.
not very memorable.
She was such a nice lady. She's the only nice lady actually, only nice noble lady you guys ever really meet or come into contact with. Um, and
And then
then
I think
yeah,
yeah, we drop off everyone there. I think we mill about for a little while, and then we're like, okay, where are we going to next? We could go to Trident. We need money. Oh, we were just like, no, we're heading west. I don't think we had a destination in mind. We're heading west, but we need money, right?
yeah,
So we go to the Adventurers Guild there and go to their notice board, very Monster Hunter-esque. And we see a couple jobs there. One that says there's kids going missing in like the town a couple days over. And we're like, we'll leave that until last because that's pretty far away. And
yeah.
we
You
want
take
money
the
now.
quest and you're like, all right, we'll do it later. It's on the way or whatever.
Yeah. So
I-
we do a bunch of quests, right?
yeah,
And that takes like a week in game.
yeah, yeah.
And I think we do one where we enter a cave and we fight a zombified beholder and Snow nearly gets vaporized
Oh
by
yeah,
the
I forgot
beholder.
about that. Yeah, the zombie beholder.
And then eventually we get around to doing the missing kids quest. So
Hold
we're like,
on,
okay,
hold on. Before we
let's
get
go.
into the missing kids quest, there were a few not exactly important, but there were a few little quests there that did add characters. Like the one like some kid was missing a cat, which turned out to be a displacer beast, which you guys adopted into your party.
Mm-hmm.
The zombie beholder quest. There was this little chamber where this old ancient knight had a single sending stone, which the other side was in Denethor, the capital, and Eisen had this whole thing where she wanted to go to the museum over there, and figure out what the hell's going on. Why was this guy here? Why is there a zombie beholder? Those are all plot points that didn't exactly get resolved, but maybe at some point in the very far future.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then there was the abductions on the road of bandits and stuff, because there was this guy on the side of the road who had a broken down wagon, and you guys were like, all right, we'll just ignore him, and then you guys come back, and then he's trying to ambush you guys. You guys kill him. And it turns out that the ambushes, the abductors, were Ubanian spies, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you guys ended up talking it out. You guys fight, you guys lose, and then
Yeah.
you guys end up talking it out with them, and they give you this permit that'll let you kind of cross the border into Ubania if you ever need to. I forgot why. I guess he was like, you guys are pretty good, and you guys aren't exactly affiliated with Denetharian, so we could use your help on the other side, which doesn't really make
Right.
sense because they probably hate every single one of you. But
But
you
we
know,
have that now. I forgot we had that, but that'll be good later
yeah, if you remember, you have it.
because we need to. We definitely need to cross through Ubania to get to the Irie Well if we need to ever head that way.
Yeah, I
Unless we
mean,
head,
you go
unless
around, yeah.
yeah, we can go around the top as well, past the Sten Mountains.
Yeah. Um, Sorry, yeah, going back to the village with the children. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so this is the only episode that we've alluded to in certain podcasts in the past. Basically, what's happened here is that a bunch of kids have gone missing. At this point in time, we left it until last. So all the children have been missing. They've gone missing now. And basically, a lot of the townsfolk are like, "Yeah, if you hadn't come sooner, they wouldn't all be gone." And making us feel bad and whatever. And we're like, yeah, well, whatever, dude. And basically, we do this whole investigation, and this was the 10-hour session,
Yeah,
one of
this
the
was the
all day
long one.
session.
This was the
It
long
was,
one.
and basically, we split up, and we're all trying to look for clues, and it turned into this like psychological horror session where like there was this old guy, like this old homeless guy who would play with this little girl um on the outskirts of town, and people thought that he was the one that was abducting all the children. Turns out he was just a sweet old guy who was lonely, right? Like nothing wrong
Yeah.
with him. Like he wasn't a pedophile or anything like that. And then after we speak to him and interrogate him for a little bit, the next day we go back and we find out he's like been brutally murdered inside his little tent thing that he had.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's some like weird old lady by the creek, which I think was just a meme to just kind of meme on Tokul because the player doesn't really like old women, isn't attracted to old women, or very like repulsed by. I don't know what his deal was, right? But basically, the old woman tried to get a kiss of him, and like he was like, "Oh no, get away from me!" And he kept like pushing her off.
Yeah, this is the old lady that tackles him to the ground every time she saw him, right? And, like tries to
Yeah.
smooch him. Yeah,
Yeah,
good
yeah,
times.
yeah.
Good times.
So you have that old lady. I think there was a lot of investigation around the little schoolhouse that was there, and the guards that were looking after the schoolhouse. It was very like detective noir type deal. We all had our own thing going because I think we were split most of the time doing
Yeah.
our own investigations, right? And we're there for like a day or so. Go back to an inn, and basically, I think at night, like the next day, we do some more investigation, and then at night we start seeing shit. Snow's by the creek. Like he's like following this trail that he found on the creek. I can't remember what exactly he found, like maybe a footprint or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was following that up the creek, and meanwhile, Toko is following his own trail out in the field somewhere, and all of a sudden, he sees Snow. And Snow leads him back to the cave, right? And this was like a very trippy because you were like, okay, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. You did the Duke thing again, where you like, asked people to leave but one player, and basically, Tokul saw Snow, and this was just between you and him. He saw Snow, and he led them up to this cave. Meanwhile, Snow saw was coming up on the other side or in another entrance of this cave, and he went in. Or I think Snow found the cave before Tokul was led there. So, and then I can't remember what Eisen was. I don't think Eisen was doing that much investigating. I think he was just kind of flying about.
Yeah, I think her main concern was taking care of Lucius.
Yeah. So she was just flying about. And then basically Tokul comes up to the cave, and all of a sudden Snow disappears. And then he sees Snow in the cave, and he's like, Snow, where are you going? Where are you going? I'm like, I don't know. I just found this cave. How did you get here? And he's like, you led me here. And it turns out that the Snow that was leading Tokul wasn't actually the real Snow. It was someone in disguise. And we enter the cave, and we see all where the children all went. We see all the bones and the carcasses, and like a big pool of blood in the middle of the cave clearing. And I think at this time, the Cruel Oath sword, Snow's sword, started talking to him. Like, it was like around these sort of sessions where the sword was talking to him.
Yep.
And like, the sword is thirsty for blood, particularly the ones of children. So I was like, okay, this is a good opportunity. So I take out the sword, and I'm like, yeah, drink this. And the sword like slurps up all the blood in the entire cave. Right?
Yep. And everything goes dry.
Everything goes dry. And then I can't remember what happens after this, but eventually we find the Oni, right? What happens? When did we find Oni?
You guys don't exactly find him. I believe you guys have this whole argument over whether or not to use Lucius as bait.
Yes, I remember that. I think Tokul and Sieg had an argument.
Tokul and Eisen.
Eisen, sorry. Now I'm doing it.
Yeah, they had this very long argument as to whether or not to use the child Lucius. They brought with them as bait to kind of bait out the Oni into the night and try and capture him or ambush him or whatever and kill him there. What eventually happened is that everyone kind of realized, oh wait, Tokul is 13 years old. He's technically a child. So I think that you do kind of go with that. He's like, okay, we'll use Tokul as bait. Nothing really comes out of it for a while. You guys go to the village elder, or the I guess the village person or whatever, the person who kind of manages the village. You go to his house, and you're talking to him and his wife, and I think something like the village elder was giving tells as to he wasn't really the villager. Like, his ring was missing. There were a few things that was wrong with him. The wife was kind of questioning him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually you guys kind of connected the dots, and you guys fucking sprung at the village elder, who was the Oni in disguise. The village elder kills the wife, and he kind of escapes into gaseous form into the night. And you guys kind of like, oh, what the fuck do we do now? You guys like firing arrows and shit at the gas, but it's not really doing anything. So you guys decide to go all the way back to the cave where you think he goes. Do you think he'd run away to? And you guys are correct in assuming that he would return back to his abode of some sort, and you battle out
lair,
the lair, and you battle out the Oni in his lair. It's a I don't know if anticlimactic is the word I'd use, but it wasn't like an intense fight or anything.
No, we beat him up pretty badly.
Yeah, he was supposed to be pretty strong. I think that's around where the balance started slipping towards your guys' direction, where everything started getting kind of easier. You guys fuck him up. I think, yeah, the whole detective murder thing was that people saw other people stealing, like taking the children, like other villagers, and they all had different accounts of who done it, which kind of turned out was a shape-shifting Oni or whatever. Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the Oni episode, really, where not exactly the first time, but I guess kind of the first time where you guys face the consequences of your own decisions, where you decide to
Mm.
leave this quest for last, and in doing so, in that 1 week span, most of the children, actually not, yeah, most like a majority of the children are abducted and uh, eaten, brutally eaten, or whatever the Oni did with them. You guys didn't really find out, and that kind of hit you guys. And then there was the whole debate with Lucius. I mean, out of game, he's just an NPC, so why don't you use him as bait? But in game, it's just a kid, and I think that's where we kind of fall into that deeper part of role playing where you see NPCs not as NPCs but as actual living, breathing things, where you don't just want to kind of use them as bait or sacrifice them as what's the word, disposable.
Yeah.
And I think that was a very big turning point in our role play. Do you think so?
Yeah, I think so. I think maybe we might not have noticed at the time, but I think yeah, that was a pretty pivotal point in the campaign, and I think it's emphasized even more so for the stuff that comes off after we come
Yeah.
back from the village.
Yeah. So real quick, when you guys were kind of looking for the Oni, you asked your demon sword, where is he gonna show up? Like where is he gonna go?
Yeah.
And the demon sword replies that it'll tell you, but but it requires the blood of one innocent child,
Mm-hmm.
like all the blood,
Mm.
like a dead, like a alive and now dead child.
Yeah.
And you're like, alright, alright, um, and that's how you guys track him down. And that is a very big point coming up to, well, your return to the village and where everything comes to a head.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, God. So when let's flashback real quick. So when Snow was traveling with all the refugees and stuff, there were a few kids with them. There was one child in particular. I believe her name was Anne or something.
It was Anna, wasn't it?
Was it Anna?
Yeah.
Oh, cause yeah, I was getting mixed up with the Bennett's childhood crush, which was like Annie or something. I don't know. It was
Yep.
Anna, and Snow would always carve these wooden carvings for the children, and they'd love it.
Mm-hmm.
They'd enjoy it. And they'd play with it. They'd always go up to Snow every time they broke one of the wooden figurines and ask him to repair it or make him a new one. And I think Snow happily obliged, right?
Mm.
Yeah, he. Would you say he loved doing that kind of stuff?
Oh, it was kind of yeah. It was like something that gave him peace. He didn't really have any attachment to the end product. It was more just the process that he liked doing
Yeah,
because
and
it settled his mind. Yeah.
yeah, and the end result always made someone else happy, so it's a good
Yeah.
thing, right? So yeah, he's always done that. Actually, do you think he started doing that like around after when he got the refugees, or was he always doing that? I kind of forgot.
I think he was always doing that, but I think I made him start doing it a lot more at that point.
Yeah, it became more of a conscious thing,
Yeah.
a more role play thing. Yeah, and I think the carving you gave Anna was was a goblin with a crossbow.
Yeah, it was Torgo.
It was Torgut, and she had this little brother, and you gave him like an orc or something, and those two went off. Actually, I don't know if they were the refugees. I think they were just kids in the town. I don't know if they were refugees.
Mm, yeah, possibly.
No, yeah, they
Possibly.
were just kids in the town, and you just kind of, because every time you guys came back to town or you guys were in town, kids would just kind of surround you and ask you to carve them something or whatever, and they were just kind of part of the group. Um, yeah, and so that's a thing. So when you guys come back, well, do you wanna talk about it? I think it's
Yeah,
better if you talk
I
about this.
think basically what happens is we come back, and I think we start deciding, what are we gonna do from here? Okay, we're gonna, just bed down in this town for the night, and then we'll set off tomorrow. What happens is this, basically, it's very like, um, basically the sword's like the first child that comes to you in the town when you return is the one I want, right? Turns
Yep.
out the Anna comes up very first child. Snow, like, she's like, oh yes, I broke it. And Snow makes, I broke her. She broke a toy. Snow makes her another one, but he makes it with this, like, I remember feeling like this dread. Right, there was no pleasure in making the toy for her. I can't remember what I made for her, but maybe it was just another goblin one.
It might have been, yeah.
One.
Yeah.
And basically, everyone goes back into the inn except for Snow, and he goes to. There's an alchemist there, which we encounter a couple of times, and basically, he's always looking at this mortar and pestle that's stirring itself, right? And Tokul and Aizen like try to talk. I think just Tokul tries to talk to him, but he doesn't have the patience, right? Snow just goes in there and he just watches the pot with the dude, right? And the dude's like, after a little while, after like 10 minutes, right? Dude's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, you're cool. And so Snow buys these two anesthetic potions, right? Because
yeah, like sleeping.
He asked specifically, do you have something strong enough to put an elf to sleep? Because in universe, elves don't sleep.
Yeah,
right?
mechanically, elves can't even be put to sleep.
Yeah. Well, basically, like, make an elf unconscious. I think that was the line of questioning there.
Yeah, yeah.
So he buys two, and he goes to the beach to meditate a little bit. And then for some reason, Anna is there too. She finds him on the beach, right? And basically, this is where it happens, right? So Anna is like talking to Snow a little bit. I can't remember what she was talking about exactly. Maybe she was just talking about the figurine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was just talking about how she broke it when she was playing with her brother. And they were just doing, like, they do little roleplay things with their figurines and whatnot. And I think she just broke it.
I think it might have been that point where he fixed it, right? It wasn't when she returned. When he returned, it was at that point where, like, she brought it to him. She was looking for him all night. And she brought it to him at the beach. And he fixed it. And then basically, Snow's like, can you also drink this for me or something? I can't remember how I made her drink the potion.
It was like, I think you did like a chloroform thing or something. I don't know.
Oh, right. Yeah. I did like the classic chloroform thing. We put the cloth over her mouth. But she goes unconscious. And basically, now it's like, the scene is like this kind of quiet beach with little small lapping waves. And
it's sprinkling at this point.
Yeah. It's raining a little bit. Oh, was it sprinkling? I didn't know it was.
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was just a clear night.
It sprinkles and then it kind of coalesces into a thunderstorm, which is why Tokul gets a thing later on.
Oh, right. So basically, he takes the sword out, and he's kind of just standing over. He's standing over the girl for a long time, and then eventually the sword's like, "Do it!" And he stabs the sword right into her neck, and the sword drains her blood, drinks it up, and then after the sword is done, he throws the sword away, and it kind of just stabs into the sand, some ways away, closer to the sea. He buries Anna, and he drinks the potion that he got for himself. And basically he goes into this unconscious state, like kind of like a half dreaming state, right? Not sleeping, but not entirely conscious. I think this is how we ruled it.
Yeah. And oh god, that was such a dreadful moment for, but I think it was both me and you.
I think the whole party was kind of like, yeah,
something serious is going down. Yeah. Yeah, like just then when you were describing that, I literally cringed, like physically. I was like, oh god, it's coming. Oh god, because my imagination of that moment's pretty vivid. And it like, I think I described it. I don't think I can describe it again, but it was pretty bad. Like, you know, like the blood and the little struggle. Oh god, it was heart-wrenching for me, and I don't know about you, but it felt pretty bad.
yeah.
Like, even like after that, I ended up writing this little piece on the girl itself, on the girl herself, and her
Mm.
brother, because it was a very it was the moment pretty much. I think it was the moment for you, and I think it was the moment for me as well. And I was like, oh shit,
It was
I'm
like,
in,
yeah, I'm in. I'm in.
I'm in right now, and oh oh god, oh Anna, oh you didn't deserve this, Anna. Oh no.
I
Oh,
kind of imagined it as like a clear night, like the clouds haven't rolled in. You can see them in the distance. They haven't rolled in as yet. And
okay.
you see it's like the full moon, and it's kind of like given the scene a more ethereal look, like kind of like it's not of this world, right? It's just blanketed in this cosmic aura, right? And yeah, and basically I picture Snow kind of looking down um at Anna, and his face is like darkened, like he's facing away from the moonlight. His face is like kind of darkened. You know how the animes they darken the
I
face.
got you. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, kind of like to make it look like the character's like brooding a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I imagined it really. And then he takes the sword in his hand and it glints in the moonlight, and yeah, he does the deed right into the neck.
Yeah, I had a similar picture. I'd imagine it a little cloudy. You know how like the moon beams down through the clouds.
Yeah, like God rays, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'd imagine it's close to that, and the very few clouds that are there, they're slowly starting to gather, and the ones that are already there, they're still kind of letting down this sprinkle. That's kind of how I saw it. Oh God, it was
Yeah,
such a weirdly peaceful, dreadful scene to me.
yeah. I was just imagining it being clear because it was like I kind of imagine the Moon Mother, like the Snow Elves deity, right, looking down and watching this from above, like in a kind of very indirect way.
Yeah, like even in a metaphorical sense, even if it was kind of clouded through, you could there's like she's still peeking at you, and she not exactly agreeing with your actions, but who knows? We will have to get into that in a later session as
Yeah, I
where all
think
the demon things
we,
go.
we'll have to talk about the sword because it's kind of it doesn't talk anymore,
It's out of
but
the
it's
picture
kind of
right now, yeah.
it's taken a back seat right now for the past like 30 sessions.
Yeah, I'd say it like after the death of Anna, it kind of sated and it just kind of went back into hibernation for a bit, right? I don't quite recall it talking too much after that.
No, it doesn't talk that much after that. I think that was just like I think we had discussions because we really like reworked the sword
We
like
reworked this out
multiple
like
times.
6, 7 times, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, God,
but we'll probably have to come back to that sooner or later if it becomes relevant again.
yeah. Um, I'll probably link the document with the short story in the description or whatever. God, that was such a powerful moment. I think, even for the other players. Yeah. Oh man, so much to think about. It's I don't know whether it was the contrast between the peaceful background, the peaceful setting, and the terrible, terrible, terrible thing Snow did. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. It just hit so much harder than anything else we did prior to that moment.
Yeah, I think that was a turning point for the campaign and for the character Snow's character. I think from then on, he kind of strived to be a better person, basically, because he had done all these terrible things, and that this moment still haunts him to this day in certain visions, right?
Yes, yes, it does.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Spoiler. I don't think I've told anyone that, but yeah, spoiler. That's what.
I don't know. You guys aren't too open with what your visions are, which was interesting to me really, because I thought you guys would just kind of tell each other, but I don't know. It's up to you guys to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
One thing though. One
yep.
thing though. Basically, this scene happened, and then Tokul has his scene where basically Vanskir, his prior deity, because he was a barbarian at the time, basically is like, what did he say? Vanskir was like, "Yo, what up? I'm here."
Yeah, that's exactly what he sounded like. Yep, that's him. Sure. Yeah, he said like you inherited my legacy or whatever because of Maelstrom, the javelin that Tokul acquired very early on the journey.
Hmm.
And so he kind of just gave Tokul like this overhaul, like a buff, pretty much, which completely got retroactively removed like after we came back from D&D after that like 10-month break. Everything
What
got kind of downgraded again.
what buff did he get?
So the chainsaw sword, the damage got increased on its special move, which I don't want to talk about because it's way too confusing to talk about right now. And his javelin Maelstrom allowed him to pretty much teleport every time he threw it. It was on like a
Oh, right.
one day
Yeah, yeah.
cooldown, but it let him teleport to wherever it landed. Um, which we never used, by the way, like ever. And then after we came back, we pretty much forgot about it, and at that point I just kind of erased it from from my memory, and Tokal didn't really remember either. So yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of disappeared. Aizen, I don't think Aizen was doing much at the time.
So this is the thing, right? Eisen comes around the beach, and I think it was a bit. It felt a bit metagamey because there was really no reason why she was there, right? Where she should have been there, but she comes around, she finds Snow, and she kind of like pokes a stick at Snow, but he's not responding because he's like unconscious, right? And it ruined the scene for me when she did that. I was like, there's this awesome scene that happened, and then now like it's wrapped up perfectly, right? And then she comes around. He's like, "Hey, you awake?" Poke, poke. Comes around, takes energy from the sword or something like that, and then I don't know, goes into the tree and shuts down. But it was like, hey, let me have the moment. Let me have this moment. Let me have this moment to myself.
I mean, the player probably thought the moment was over at that point. So, and
But you gotta let it settle. You know what I mean? Just like
yeah, yeah, yeah. At that point, it was like thundering and raining and shit. I don't know, shit. It was a long time ago,
there
and
was a
the
there
moment
was a
still
long time ago.
exists in our hearts, and I think it forever will. Um, yeah, that is the beach episode, beach moment, pretty much.
Hmm.
I don't know if we did it justice in the way we described it, but to us it
No,
was
I
a
don't
very
think we
big
really
deal.
captured like it was a be there moment. You had to be there to
Yeah.
really experience the full.
Yeah, it was late at night. We had the background, little lapping of waves. Everything was like right, you know. Everything kind of lined up perfectly. I don't know. Oh man. Oh, the beach episode.
And yeah, I think from there we head off to Trident, and most of everyone knows what happens at Trident. But I think we will leave it there. We're almost at the 2 hour mark, which is quite a bit longer than these episodes go. We only go over time if there's a guest, but this is the first time we've gone over just as the core members,
We had
right?
a lot to talk about. I'm surprised we got through all of it in 2 hours, in less than 2 hours, really. I guess
Yeah.
we did speed through a lot of it, and we didn't actually discuss much. It was just us kind of recapping. One last thing, or at least one other thing before we finish, is I need to check the email real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, send us emails. That's all really. Join the Discord. I don't know. I don't know. Oh wait, that's the wrong email.
Hey, you're gonna have to cut this part out. It's too much dead air.
No, no, it's still in. It's still in. It's
This
right
is
here.
not.
We didn't
This is
get a
not.
single fucking email.
This is not good podcasting.
Hey, do you think anyone actually makes it to the 2 hour? Huh? Think anyone actually makes it here?
We have some dedicated listeners.
No, nobody makes it here. Hey,
Yes, we did.
hey, if you made it here, leave a comment below. Leave a comment. Send us an email if you made it to this part of the podcast. Please. Please. Anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, I think that's it. Yeah, I thought this would take longer than one podcast, but I
Yeah,
guess
but no, we'd sped through. We sped through a lot of it. We can
smashed it
always
out.
go back to the moments where we can discuss like the whole Layhurst things. Like we skipped over a lot of stuff.
But I think we
But
got
yeah,
all the meaty parts of it though.
yeah, the plot relevant parts.
Everything that mattered to the overall
Yeah,
plot.
and if the other players who weren't there at the time, they want to know, here you go. You can just come back to this, and there's a healthy long recap for you guys.
Now you know. Not required. It's not required listening, but
Yeah,
hey,
it's not
if
required
you
reading.
if you're interested, it's here.
Right here.
Yeah, I think there's actually a lot of context for the stuff that happens in recent sessions that happens um in these sessions. Like I think
Definitely.
Cedric is one of them who comes up right every now and then. Um, of course, the beach moment comes up every now and then. Although I think it's mostly internalized within Snow's mind, right?
Yeah, I don't think other people are too privy to Beach.
Yeah, and
It's
I
an
don't
out,
think
it's an out of game thing.
I don't think any of the characters strictly know what happened there.
Yeah, but the players, if they listen, now do.
Now you know, Snow's a bad person, but he good now. He kind of good.
Kind of good. I don't know about it. Good now, but he's kind of good. He's better. Better than before, I guess. Slaying kids and shit. Jesus, I hope we never go down that route again. But
That's on you.
Knowing me, it
That's
might
on you.
happen. Knowing me, it might happen. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, we'll
Yeah. Hey, Our Kingdoms, episode 7. That's us.
recap episode, retro episode.
Hey,
Catch show
okay.
later on the flip side.
Bye.
Slap you on the behind.